Hey there, it's Amelia, and in today's video I'm going to open up the first official batch of my Author Journey Success Workbooks, which I created in conjunction with my first book in my Author Journey Success Toolkit series. And I'm going to not only inspect the final print copy, but I'm also going to talk about different trim sizes and how to select the trim size for your book. So first I just wanted to mention that for this workbook I decided to go with 8.5 by 11 so that there's large pages to write in. And the nice thing about 8.5 by 11 is with just a little bit of pressure, the book lays flat. So that's really important for books where the readers are going to write inside. Also, I went with black and white to keep the cost down. It's very expensive to print in color, so definitely consider, unless you have something like a cookbook where you need pictures of food in color, it's best to go with black and white and go with a trim size, especially if they have to write inside, that's large enough to possibly tear the pages out. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and open up the first batch. And I want to mention to you that when you open up the box, I usually take a letter opener and I slit down, but I got in trouble recently with another box and I opened it from the wrong side, and therefore the bubble paper was not on that side, and I made a little dent into the book, but no big deal, right? In fact, what I'm going to do now is just from now on, I'm just going to use a scissor instead, and it's safer, right? So what's interesting is I just ordered a batch of my book one, and it came in like a larger box with more bubble paper, so you never know what you're going to expect, but I'm glad to see the earth-friendly bubble paper here, and these are upside down, so let me just turn those over. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is not only celebrate, yay, my first printed batch, but you also want to take your proof copy, which I know I might sound like a broken record, but if you're an author, definitely order at least one proof so that you can inspect not only the cover but the inside, make sure everything's a-okay. In my case, I didn't need to make any changes to the cover, but on the inside, I just had a couple pages where I needed to change the paging so that this particular section will start on the right side. So with all books with new chapters and sections, you want to make sure that it starts on an odd number page so that it starts on the right side of the book. So once you get your printed copies, you not only want to inspect the cover and the back, and in this case I do not have any spine text because this workbook is only about 80 pages, and you need around 100 or so pages depending on the trim size to have text on the spine of the book. So anyway, I'm going to move this out of the way and talk about different trim sizes. Okay, so the most popular trim size is 6 by 9. My first series, which is Microsoft Office Tips and Tricks, I thought about 6 by 9, but after I started working on the book, I realized that I needed a bit more room inside, and if your book is image heavy, then you want to consider, is the reader going to have enough room on the page for the printed copy to see the image? So I decided instead of 6 by 9, this is 7 by 10. So this gave me a bit more room, about 1 inch on both sides, for the interior. And then for the other books, I continued with the the 7 by 10. But I did another experiment with the Microsoft PowerPoint. I decided that PowerPoint, which was even more image heavy, I needed even more room for the pictures, and I wanted to make the images a bit larger. So I decided to do an experiment, and this particular size is 8 by 10. which is the same height but another inch added to the width, and it worked out quite well. And I opted for a larger print size, and with the larger trim size I was able to enlarge the pictures as well. And because I went with a larger font size, it's considered large print, so I put that little indicator here. And this particular book is my bestseller. So I would say, with a nonfiction training type book, definitely consider what size is best. Compare with similar books in your genre. Now for my next series, I experimented with children's books. And children's books are definitely different. The most popular size for children's book is not 6x9. This particular size I went with 8.5 by 8.5, and it's a square size. And the reason I went with this is, I don't know, I went into different stores and I checked out different types of books, and I liked the square. Seemed to just feel better, maybe in a children's hands, easier to handle. So I went with the square size with the children's rhyming books. And then with my coloring and activity books, I wanted them to be full size. So I went with the 8.5 by 11. Again, black and white interior is always going to keep the cost down. So about trim size, I mentioned 6x9 is the most popular size, but today I was looking on my shelf, and what I noticed is there's also a lot of books with a trim size approximately 5.5 by 8.5. This is actually closer to about 5.25. This is The Power of Positive Thinking, Norman Vincent Peale, one of my favorite books. So in addition to 6x9, 5.5 by 8.5 is also a popular size. So overall, in conclusion, I would say that it really depends on is it fiction or nonfiction, what genre is it, and definitely consider, do you have images on the inside, and if so, if there are images that you're going to want the customer to write in, then you're going to want to consider a large size. The other thing you could do is you could go into bookstores. You could look online, but when you go in bookstores, you're going to get a different feel and look. So you want to go on like the display table, see what books are popular and trending, and consider, yes, the trending size, but also consider, is that size going to suffice for the contents in your book? So I hope you enjoyed and found this video helpful. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe. Click the bell for notifications so you don't miss another video. And I'll see you in the next video. And if you want to learn more about my books, you can go to my Instagram, which is Amelia G. Writes. You can also go to my blog, ameliaswritingcorner.com, and I have a section there for books. And I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.